And live in this video, I'll be screen sharing and playing the knife fighting martial arts training segment, which means a part of the recent live stream. Here we go. And I'll probably be for future knife training use the have the sheet on it, which is a way I figured out. With this knife, you don't have to buy a training knife. You can use the sheet of this knife for training. Now, I wouldn't recommend it for sparring, okay, because there's a small chance the sheet could come off, okay. So that's like a risk. That's not worth it, because you don't want to accidentally cut up your sparring partner. But for some types of impact training, which is what I call it, there's knife fighting shadow boxing, which is useful. And starting out, if you're interested in getting better at knife fighting, getting into knife martial arts, I can recommend it's like a first thing to start doing is learning different stances and doing shadow boxing. And you can go a long way with that. Just learning different stances, guards, grip changes, also good. Learning. So what are some basics of knife fighting martial arts I recommend if you're going to get into getting better at knife fighting, starting to practice knife fighting martial arts? Which basically, if a person carries a knife for self-defense, you want to be good at using it if you need to, if you get into a self-defense situation. First of all, it's better to have it than not need it. It's better to have a knife and have no training than to not have a knife and no training. Now, what's better than having a knife and no training is having a knife and some training, okay? And what's better than having a knife and some training is having a knife and a lot of training, okay? So what are some things that you can do to improve your knife fighting ability? Well, I would recommend that you get a knife, get a training knife. For some knives, you can buy a training knife. This you don't really have to, because the sheet itself can be kept on the knife for training, okay? So I would recommend you start with learning the two main grips and learning some different stances, learning some different ways to attack from those stances, and then drilling that. So it's similar to boxing. How I've been training knife fighting martial arts is similar to how boxers train to get better at boxing. Knife fighting is similar to fist fighting while holding a knife, okay? There's hook attacks, there's uppercut attacks, there's overhands, there's straight attacks, and there's footwork, and there's moving in and there's moving out, and there's circling, and there's blocks, and there's guards, and things like this. So how do boxers train? They train shadow boxing, they train footwork, they do impact training, which means a boxer doesn't only train shadow boxing. They train shadow boxing, and then they train the same techniques on a bag or a dummy like what I have, a bob. So I recommend people to start with the basics, fundamentals, and then work from there. Now, impact training should be part of what a person does if they truly want to improve their fighting ability. Impact training, some type, some amount, some form of impact training. And impact training means rather than shadow boxing only, which would be doing things like this. For example, that's not from shadow boxing. Impact training would be I'm actually impacting with something, with my technique. And with this knife and this target, I can use this as a training knife and just have the sheet attached. If I want even more secure attachment, with this knife called steel mini leather neck double edge, a simple way to make it even better for training is using a rubber hairband, cutting it in half, and then putting the hairband through these holes here, and then tying it to the handle. Or even a hairband without cutting the hairband, putting it over here, turning it, and around here. Actually, I can show you. And a hairband can also be used. For attaching the knife, for carrying it. For example, you could have a hairband, cut it in half, put it through these two holes, and then tie the hairband to your belt loop or to your belt itself. And there's different ways to do it. But basically, you can use a hairband to attach these sheaths to either your belt or a pant loop. So this works in of itself for this type of impact training. To make it even better, because it's a small chance to do this enough times, that will hit some friction with a slasher attack, and it can pull the sheet off. So here's how I do it. Here's a simple regular hairband. I bought a multi-pack of these off of Temu. And obviously I don't use it for my hair. I don't need to. So here, simple way. Like this. Turn it, go around again. And then I go down here. Turn it again. Turn it again. And turn it again. And since this knife is well textured for a good grip, it works well and it doesn't easily slide. So you can see that made a big difference. It still can come off a little bit, but it makes it a lot more secure. And this one is simple things. There's often said the highest form of sophistication is simplicity. Simplicity is the highest form of sophistication. So this is a simple that works for all kinds of stuff. Something this simple can be used for all kinds of martial arts training. Knife fighting martial arts, stick fighting martial arts, Muay Thai, boxing. For example, with this, I can shadow box. I can practice hearing this. And it's not just, what does this do? It's practicing my timing. So this actually has some advantages over a heavy bag or something like this, because it's a small object that's moving. So I'm getting reflex, timing, accuracy training. For example, if a person is moving at you and you're practicing connecting with a hook, here, my timing actually has to be right to hit it. Whereas if it's a fixed target, it's pretty much in the same place the whole time. So an advantage to this over a heavy bag or a more static one like a punching ball is I can practice the timing, connecting with something as it's coming in. And I can also practice some of my timing accuracy, especially for knife fighting. Since the person is unlikely to knife actually stand there and be like stab me more in the neck or something like this, you might want to, in self-defense, the person is coming at you, get better at being able to hit something. If a person coming at you, hit the neck, connect with the neck as they're close to the distance. So this is something that actually translates to real knife fighting ability. And you can use it for boxing as well. Not only for getting better at your accuracy and timing, but also defensively. You can use it for practicing head movement. And it's more realistic because it's something moving towards you. You can practice carrying blocks.
I switched to first group.
Larger than